Today I'm heading out to find and sketch the beautiful sea pink flowers, but they're at the end of their season, so I hope I'm not too late. I've just parked up here at Portland Bill. I've managed to bag a free spot, but it's only for 1 hour, so I best get going. Oh, I'm so happy I found some. I actually wasn't expecting this many to be here, so it's so lovely to see them, and I'm so glad that I'm not too late. There is a huge carpet of them on the causeway onto the island, and they look spectacular, but it's next to the main road, so it's quite noisy there, so this is a much quieter spot, although we are next to the main path, so I might see if I can go and find a nice little quiet spot out of the way. As there's so many of them, I will pick a nice little spot. So let's go. I am really pleasantly surprised by how many flowers there are here. The sea pinks, or sea thrifts as you call them. I actually wasn't expecting so many. I had sort of half anticipated that maybe there wouldn't be any left because the season's knocking on a bit now, so it's so lovely to see them. But I sort of regretting getting that hour parking slot because there's not really that much time left to sit and take my time sketching, which is what I really wanted to do. I want to be able to sit here enjoying nature and drawing without worrying about the time. So I only live sort of up the road, so I'm going to come back tomorrow morning first thing. There'll be less people around then, which would be nice, it'll be quieter, so I'm going to come back and I will see you then. Okay, good morning. It's the following day. I have cycled in today because yesterday driving and having the 1 hour parking slot was way too stressful. So today I can really take my time, I can spend time in nature, I can do some drawing, be creative and just enjoy this beautiful morning, which is what this is all about. So I don't know why I was thinking that 1 hour was going to be enough. So yeah, I've got all the lovely flowers around me still. I only need a small bunch because I'm just going to be drawing shapes and details. So yeah, let's get my things out and do some sketching. I've kept things really simple today, just my sketchbook, a couple of pens and a small set of watercolours. Rather than lugging pots of water around, I'm using these water brushes which dispense the water as you paint. And I've got a small selection of these waterproof fine line pens. I generally work digitally, so it's always nice to come back to traditional materials. And if you'd like to sketch along with me, I'd really encourage you to use whatever materials you have to hand. Today I'm just spending a little time looking closely and playing with the ways to capture this little flower. From a distance, these flowers look quite round, but when you take the time to look closer, you can see that the edges are much more jagged, and each ball is made up of lots of individual little flowers. So I'm starting off by capturing these shapes and details with my fine line pen. I've sped up the video here so that you can see the drawing process over a much shorter period of time. But as I'm drawing, I'm constantly pausing to look carefully at the flowers, to see how the shapes and lines fall before then drawing them onto the page. Whilst I'm not drawing every detail exactly, I'm aiming to capture the overall shape and show the individual flowers within each head. It really is a fine balance between including enough detail to represent the object while also simplifying areas to avoid it looking too cluttered and chaotic. This balance is something which comes with time and practice. It has taken me quite a while to learn how to simplify things and not get caught up in the detail too much. Whilst including detail can be perfect for some art styles, my work is more illustrative and requires a more stripped back, simplified representation of things. So, once I have sketched a more realistic version to get a feel for what the flower actually looks like, I go on to try out some different ways to capture the flowers and explore ways to simplify them into smaller marks. Because if I were using this as an illustration, I wouldn't include every tiny detail. I just take the essence of it. With this second set of flowers, you can see that my lines are much looser and more minimal, using lines and marks to represent the details in a more simplified way. And then with this third set of flowers, I have simplified it even further, reducing the flowers down to their very basic shapes. I also did a final, more close-up study at the bottom of the page. Once my line work is complete, I go in with the watercolour. The way I'm using this water brush pen is by squeezing a little bit of water into the paint palette to activate the colour. I don't want the colour to be too intense, so I use a little more water to dilute and soften it. I also had a tissue to hand, which I dabbed the paintbrush onto when the colour was a little too intense. And I also brushed the colour off on the tissue when I went in with another colour to avoid the colours mixing and getting muddy. Instead, I went in with each colour with a clean brush so the colours only mixed on the page. I started with 2 shades of pink for the flowers and then 2 shades of green for the foliage. Then, by looking closely, I could also see that there is a lot of yellow in both the flowers and the foliage too, so I added in some yellow as well. I have kept the colour loose and playful, working quite quickly so that I don't get caught up in the details. The style of illustration I usually work in is drawn digitally on my iPad and comes from block printing inspirations. So whilst the drawing I'm doing today is quite different to my main work, quick observational sketches like this inform my future work. By looking closely, noticing the details, shapes, textures and colours, I can bring this information into my future illustrations. It is also a wonderful way to connect with nature and to explore my own creativity. And I urge you to give something like this a go too. You don't need years of experience behind you to start. You just need to allow yourself the time to explore and experiment with making marks, to look closely at subjects and have a go at representing them on paper. And just like mine, they don't need to look realistic. Just explore ways to just strip it down to simple shapes. You don't need to show them to anyone if you don't want to. Just allow yourself to enjoy the process of being in the moment, of being amongst nature, of creating something with your own hands. And as you explore and experiment, you will learn things along the way. You will learn what types of marks you like and what you don't. And the more you allow yourself to create, each one of those moments compound and you gradually improve over time. So there we have it, a few little visual notes to take away with me, which no doubt will find their way into future illustrations, because every small sketch teaches us something, and over time those little moments really add up. And more than anything, just taking a bit of time out here in nature and allowing yourself the freedom to create something, it really is so incredibly nourishing, and it feels like a little reset for the mind. So my painting is just about dry, so it's time for me to pack away and cycle on home, and I'll see you next time for some more creative, gentle time in nature.